Aloha and welcome to the Zeno podcast, where we talk about how we shape stories and how they shape us. My name is Carly.
And my name is Cole. So today I was in the front of the BYU Hawaii campus, and we have what's called the flag circle. So it's a circle of 66 different flags, if I counted them right. And they're each from a different country, and they're representative of different countries here that we have in the student body. So today we have students from Taiwan, and that's going to be the subject of our podcast.
Yes. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and say hi in whatever language you prefer, either Taiwanese or Mandarin.
Mm-hmm. So my name is Whitney. I'm from Taiwan. We just said about it. I'm majoring in graphic design.
Sweet.
So my Chinese name is Chen Qi, but I go by Angela, and I'm from Taiwan, Taipei. I'm a senior and majoring accounting.
Oh, sweet.
My name is Ruby. My Chinese name is Lin Ziwen, and I'm majoring in computer science. I've been here in Hawaii almost 2.5 years for now,
Sweet.
and I love here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, cool. Well, thank you for doing our podcast. It was super short notice, so thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So maybe to start out, how do you say hello in Taiwan?
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ni hao.
And is that Mandarin?
Yeah,
Or
that's
is that?
Mandarin.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, I always hear people say it, but I'm not sure what language it is, you know?
Mhm.
But yeah, cool. And then for anybody who doesn't know, could you describe like where Taiwan is on the map? Like, is it kind of near Japan or China or?
Yeah, just close by China and Hong Kong,
Mhm.
and it's above Philippines and
Oh, okay.
under Korea and Japan.
It's a small island.
Yeah.
Just like Hawaii.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So compared to Hawaii, I mean, I was kind of trying to look at it on a map. It looks really big compared to Oahu, but
Oh,
it's
sure.
not that
Yeah.
big. Or
And actually, I thought Taiwan was smaller than Hawaii,
Oh.
but actually it's not. Taiwan is way bigger than Hawaii.
Way bigger.
So I'm I'm glad that our island is bigger.
yeah, yeah.
And do you have multiple islands as well, or just one?
We have like multiple little islands.
Yeah.
Just a few, not a lot.
Yeah.
But
Not like
really
Hawaii.
tiny.
So it's
Okay.
really small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do people live there, or it's mostly just like?
People live there, but usually like for tourism or like old people.
Oh, okay.
A good
Out in the
place to
country.
retire.
Yeah. The old ways out there.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So, like, what is Taiwan like? I mean, like, what's a typical day like when you wake up?
I mean, like in our free time, what do we do?
Yeah, yeah.
I think Taiwan, we have this like night market, and also we
Oh.
love karaoke.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I
And,
love going karaoke.
Like usually everyone has a scooter.
Okay, yeah.
So
So everybody has a scooter, and I've heard about like the scooter highways. Like Cole was telling me something about that. It's like,
scooter highway.
It's like, so like if there's a road, there's more scooters than cars. Is that
true?
usually right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
Why do you think that is? Like, is it just super close, so like people can just ride scooters, or why do people?
Yeah, because Taiwan's pretty small,
Mm-hmm.
and if you just had a scooter, then you can like ride to everywhere.
Yeah.
Like instead of you have to find a parking lot.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a parking lot, especially
really.
if you are in city.
Really?
That's
Are you
cool.
guys from big cities or like kind of country areas?
I'm from a country area.
Okay.
From the big city.
Big
Yeah.
city?
I'm from Taipei as well.
Oh,
so-
cool. So how is it different? Like country and city and
I think just the buildings. We have lots of like business buildings in city, but I think for the countryside, still have buildings, but not that tall. Have you heard of
Okay.
Taipei 101?
I haven't.
Yeah, so it's like a main business building in Taipei,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and it's really popular and famous. So there's so many tourists. They come to Taiwan for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the traffic in Taipei is super crazy.
Yeah.
Like a lot of motorcycle and cars on the main road, and then waiting for
Wow.
the lights to turn green.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. And the transportation is super convenient.
Yeah.
So I love Taipei.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I don't know how to drive at all because I have the transportation bring me to anywhere.
Yeah.
It's cool. So is it buses and subways, kind of like that, trains?
Yes, buses and subways.
Very cool. Wow.
That's what on the Korean podcast, what we talked about is like all the public transportation
Yeah.
and how like people usually got their license maybe at 18. But like,
Right.
yeah. So how's it different from like going from Taiwan to America? Like how was that different? Or like, did you feel any culture shock or?
Yeah, I think the culture shock is like everything is bigger
Really?
in the States.
Okay.
Interesting.
I think especially food.
Like
like,
larger portions.
But we love the food.
Yeah.
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 I used to love French fries and like hamburgers back home and pizza. But when I come back here, like come to Hawaii, I miss my home country food.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kind of food specifically will you miss from your home country?
Taiwanese fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's super
It's
good.
like $2 only.
Yeah.
Really?
And
Wow.
super cheap.
The food there is cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you eat out a lot? Is that like
Yeah.
how you usually, or is it like usually a home cooked meal when you get home?
We usually go out and eat because Taiwan's super convenient, just I mentioned, even the food. So you
Yeah.
can just, you don't need to have a kitchen. You can just eat outside and survive.
That sounds great. If I never had to cook again, I'd be happy.
Yeah. And super cheap. So
I've also heard of the stinky tofu there is very popular.
Yeah.
So can you guys tell us a little bit about what that is exactly?
Stinky tofu. I think we had like two kind. One is steamed, but one is fried.
Huh.
And on top of that stinky tofu, there would be like kimchi, kind of Taiwanese flavor,
kimchi. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
with some carrots, like little flavor on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it smells really bad. I think especially
So
for
it really is
foreigners.
stinky?
Yeah, the reason why it's stinky because they fermented
Oh.
the tofu.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
why it has it's kind of smelly.
Yeah.
But really, it tastes really good if you.
So is it
yeah.
spicy or is it mild?
You can.
Yeah, for the steamed ones,
Mm-hmm.
they can be spicy.
They can.
It's up to you.
But it's up to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I always worry about kimchi being too spicy because I don't like spicy food. But yeah, I'd love to try that sometime. But-
How is it can you find a lot of your food from back home here in Hawaii to cook or to buy it all?
If it's like a homemade food, that it's possible to find
Okay.
ingredients that we can cook at home. But like if you usually eat out at the restaurant, those dishes is kind of hard to find here
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's different flavor, different way to cook.
Like the food in night market, it's really hard for us to make it.
Oh, okay. So describe the night market. Is it like kind of like a farmer's market or is it different?
I think kind of like farmers market,
Mm-hmm.
but just a lot of like little booths on the street.
Oh, okay.
And then like after work, like Taiwanese, they will just go out, hang out,
Mm-hmm.
and then buy some food and just chill.
Oh, that's so cool.
So-
Is that every day or like on the weekends?
I think depends for the person.
Yeah, when
Okay.
you're free,
Uh-huh.
you just
Whenever.
feel free
Yeah.
to go. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, like they do it every day though. The
It
market?
depends on which night market.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
open
there
on
are
certain
lots of
days.
different-
Oh,
market.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So people don't really go out to shop there. It's mostly just like takeout food, kind of like it's just like a restaurant, like a pop-up restaurant.
Yes.
Or they could be tables
Oh, okay.
around, and you just sit on the
That's
like-
so fun.
on the street.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's cool. And is it a lot of that food that they sell just grown in Taiwan as well? Or is it imported?
I think in Taiwan usually.
I
Yeah.
think both.
Both.
A
I
little
would
bit
say
of both.
both. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the night market, we don't just sell food; we also sell clothes,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's
nice.
like technology stuff,
Yeah,
like
like
cell phones
phone
or
case.
phone
Oh, okay.
cases,
Yeah. Okay.
like screen protectors.
Ah.
Yeah,
Like everything you can think about.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Kind of
it's
like
the
Costco
swap
in
meet.
Taiwan.
Yeah.
Costco,
Cheaper
sweet.
way.
And like
Oh,
outside.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Costco here.
Mhm.
Everybody
I know.
loves it. But So what was one of the biggest differences? Maybe, actually, let me ask that differently. So what is something you either super hate or super love about coming from Taiwan to America? Or like comparison? Like
really
you
good
mentioned French
question.
fries before, like you already loved them and now they're really good. But yeah, do you have anything that you're like, why do they do that? Or like, that's so annoying. Or maybe like, oh, we should do that.
Oh, I think I really like stop sign.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is there no
Cool.
stop signs in Taiwan?
In Taiwan, we
Yeah.
only have like traffic lights.
Oh, okay.
So you really have to wait there.
Even if there's no one else around. So
Yeah,
to-
so I
Yeah.
think it's like kind of stupid. Like, there's no one and you have to wait.
Yeah.
So I love stop sign because you just
Yeah.
stop and then go.
Oh, cool.
So I
Yeah,
think it's
that's
like
Very
easier.
efficient.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys can think of that you really like or dislike?
So if I compare to Hawaii here,
Mm-hmm.
I really like the convenience of public transportation in Taiwan.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
pretty like for bus every 5 minutes there's one bus.
Oh.
Wow.
But here I have to wait like an hour
Yeah, yeah.
and then spend like 2 hours to get to go to town, and I was like, wow, that's frustrating.
yeah. Just,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've also heard people, different countries have like different personal space. Like, so sometimes or people from America are too close. Like, why are you standing so close to me when you're talking? Like, have you noticed anything like that, or just usually the same? Like, it's pretty.
I think it's like Taiwanese culture is more like. So when I just came to Hawaii, I find out when people say hi, they will hug each other
Yeah.
and like really friendly, and then like. But in Taiwan, we do that, but probably only for those close friends or families. We don't do when we just met people. We won't hug them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you do handshakes, or it's just like no body contact?
Usually no body contact.
Yeah, it's just like hello.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. No,
Yeah.
that's cool. I like that. I'm not a touchy person.
Me too.
Had to have your space.
Like, I like my space. Like, we're good. We can- yeah.
Awesome. What kind of celebrations do you have in Taiwan?
Celebration New Year's.
Yeah.
Chinese New
Chinese
Year.
Would you say that's
Yeah.
the biggest celebration?
Yeah, it's like Christmas here.
Yes.
Whoa,
Really?
okay.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And what time of the year does that usually happen?
February?
Yeah.
In the beginning of
Beginning
February.
of
About
February.
February. It depends.
Yeah.
There's not a certain date because it's based on.
So for the Chinese New Year, we follow the lunar calendar.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it will change every year, but it's
Oh.
around February.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you do for that? Like, is it just a huge party? Like, do you hang out with your family or friends?
Yeah. Usually we go home and then have like big meal with families, and then we have this thing called red envelope.
Oh, yeah.
So the older people, they would give us red envelope and with money in it.
Ooh.
So we love like Chinese New Year.
Yes.
As a kid.
Yeah. That is so cool.
Is it your relatives that are giving the money, or just friends, or everybody?
Relatives usually.
Yeah.
Relatives.
Do you still get it here in the U.S.? Like, will they send it to you or no?
No.
They're just
No.
like,
Gotta go home to get
yeah,
it.
you gotta go.
They make them not happy for saving some money.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, shoot. Can't send them money. They're in America. Yeah, that's funny. Cool. So what do you miss the most about home? Do you think, like, the food, your family, the road system?
The food, I guess.
Food.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, because I feel like everybody's said that we've, recorded on the podcast. Like, we have such good food at home, and I, can't get back there. That's cool.
Yeah. Are you guys able to get home very often?
Not really.
Not really.
Or you just mostly stay out here?
Yes.
But so far, I go home once a year, just during the summer vacation.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I go back home for summer, just visit my
that's
friends and
nice.
family. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty nice.
that's so nice.
When you go home, will you have a job that you usually will go work, or just hanging out with family?
Just hang out
Oh,
because
so
I
nice,
go home
yeah.
for fun.
Yeah.
Make money.
Come here to work.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, what about religion over there? What's religion like? in Taiwan?
The majority is like Buddhist,
Buddhist,
or
okay.
Taoism.
Okay.
Taoism.
And how are those two different? Just I'm not very knowledgeable about it. Like how.
It's, I would say like most of the people, they would mix those kind of like two religions together.
Yeah.
Like my own family,
Mm-hmm.
they will worship like ancestors.
Yeah.
It's like family center. It's like Chinese culture.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
really cool.
Sometimes it's more like a culture than religion, I think. So like we will go to temples, like Chinese temples, and then that's more like what we do rather than a religion. I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think majority of Taiwanese, our religion, it's like Taoism
Okay.
or a Buddhism, and so we don't really like worship gods because we're kids. We don't know everything. Just we do what our parents do, and yeah. So that's why. So I'm a convert of a church. So when I heard about the gospel, that made me think more about religion, because I don't really worship gods. I just
Yeah.
go to my grandma's house and then just do
Yeah.
those things.
That's the way it is, kind of.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like what you said, Ruby, about like it was new to you. How did you come in contact with the church at first?
Actually, my sister, she met missionaries on the street, and so she started to go to church and then on Sundays and learn about gospel. But she was afraid of letting us know because we have different religion, right? Different belief. So one time I wondered why she didn't ask me if I want to go to church or not. So I asked her, "Oh, why didn't you think about like invite me to go to church?" And she was shocked. She, "Oh, I thought you wouldn't want to go."
No.
So that's how I
Yeah.
get to meet with missionaries, and eventually got baptized.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. And was your family very supportive of that?
At first, no, they thought we were like deceived by the missionaries, you know,
Oh, yeah.
and because we were too young. Like I was just 16 years old,
Oh, okay.
and
pretty
they
young.
said no at first, but eventually they say yes because they respect us. They say, okay, so I think you're all growing up and then you can have your own decision. So just don't regret what the things you do.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, sure.
That's really cool. So is it just you and your sister that are members of the church?
And my brother got baptized before I got back from my mission. I think I still had 2 months left and
Oh,
he got
okay.
baptized.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but my parents, they're not members yet, but they're being supportive
Yeah.
to us.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Angela and Winnie, what about you guys? Are your whole family, are they members, or is it just like some are, some are not?
Just me and my mom. We are going to church, and my brother, he was, but then because we have school and everything, so
Right,
he
yeah.
started not going to church.
Just so busy,
Yeah, stopped going. But yeah, we're still trying to, tell him to come back. But yeah, at first I met a missionary because they knocked us our door,
Yeah.
and my dad opened it and invite them to come. At that time, my mom, my family, we went to another church, and my mom at first she kind of refused to talk to missionary because she thought she has a church to go already. But later on, she find out like she really like our church and everything we taught, and then we started going to the
That's
church.
really cool.
Yeah. And my one thing I think special, like my dad, he's not a member, and then he kind of like Buddhism, so he even take the Buddhism scripture, and talk to missionary like what it's talking
cool.
about.
Yeah, kind of switching on.
Yeah,
Switching on,
exactly.
teaching them. That's cool.
I love it. It's awesome.
And for me, I'm a convert too. Because like 5 years ago, I joined a church when I was studying in San Diego, and I stayed with this host family. They are members, and that's how I started to learn about the church. And at first, my parents, they were not supportive too, because they're Buddhist. But then, like, I just pray, and then I talk to them again, and it was like a little miracle that they were like, okay, yeah, you're an adult.
Oh my gosh,
Just
that's
kind of
so
like
cool.
Ruby.
Wow.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, I feel like all those stories are so special. Thank you for sharing those. And I think they point out that family seems to be something that's really important in Taiwanese culture. Would you guys say that's the general
Yeah.
idea? Is that
Definitely.
it's a very important thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So cool. So what kind of things will families go out and do together?
Go out, eat.
Eat.
Yeah.
Sorry, like food is really a big thing in
Central,
Taiwan.
family central,
Uh-huh.
put them together. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? I go to karaoke place with my family, whole family.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
5 of us.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And my dad doesn't like go out, but he would like to like go to karaoke with us.
Oh my
and
gosh,
that's pretty cool.
awesome.
That's so awesome. So is it where you rent one specific room
Yeah.
just for your family, and then you all like take turns singing?
Yes.
Oh, that sounds great.
And you pay for like per hour.
That's cool.
I think kind of like in the States, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I
There's
think
a few
that's-
places.
I don't know if you like pay per person per hour, or I don't know how it works, but I've only gone once. I'm too scared. Like, that's awesome that you like sing with your family. 'Cause I'm always like, I'm not a singer. But yeah.
What kind of music will you guys sing? Is it all sorts, like American music ever?
Usually like Taiwanese pop music.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool.
That's awesome.
So fun. So what is it? What would you compare Taiwanese pop music to? I know like K-pop is really popular in Korea. We were talking about, but what about Taiwanese? Is it kind of similar sounding?
I don't think so. I don't think they sound similar.
Right.
Most of the Taiwanese pop songs, they're like love songs.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and or like you just heartbroken and you hear those songs. And yeah, but I think K-pop is like more dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like a
okay.
dancing music.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
different.
So
Like
Yeah.
K-pop, they're more like a group,
Mhm.
but for Taiwanese, we are like just single person solo. And
Cool. Yeah. So my next question is actually like, if an American was traveling to Taiwan, like what would you want them to know, or like a place to go see, or like don't do this because that's rude, or anything like that?
I think Taiwanese are like really welcoming, like
Okay.
any foreigners, and
Really?
they understand like people might not know our culture, and so we're really like acceptable, like
Oh, good.
anything.
Cool.
And one thing probably different is we don't do tipping. So
Oh, no
usually,
tipping,
if you
okay.
go to a night market, you don't give them tip. But if you go to a restaurant, it will be included in your bill.
Oh, okay.
So it's not separate like here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Does most everyone speak English? Like, if I were to go and I knew nothing, you know, would it be hard to communicate? Or
Yeah,
is it,
like
yeah.
old people,
Yeah.
or like Taiwanese. We know English, but it's kind of for test, like
Oh,
for
yes.
school.
Yeah.
So we don't really speak unless we study. So they might be kind of shy, but if you ask for like directions on the road, or they would just take you there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
fun.
okay.
It's like come.
Like, this will be
language.
faster. Just take you there.
Just use sign language. That
Yeah.
will work.
Yeah,
use
it's
sign
like,
language.
where?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you said that you studied English like in school, kind of. Does everybody do that, or it's like certain schools?
It's like a requirement at school.
It's a requirement. Yeah.
But we probably just few hours a week in school, and then the rest of time we speak in Mandarin. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So coming here and learning English, like what was your biggest struggle? Like, I mean, we work for the Reading Writing Center, so we like would love to know like how to improve and like help other people, you know.
I think it's because we have lack of vocabulary.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes we cannot express the things we want to say.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of we get nervous about it.
Mhm.
And then for me, once I get nervous of anything, I will just cannot say anything.
Yeah.
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 So I think they just try to make them relax or something.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable. Yeah.
Do you get nervous like speaking English, like, or is that just old news now? Like it's.
I think normal conversation we're okay,
Mm-hmm.
but like when it comes to like academic writing,
Yeah.
we kind of get more nervous about it.
Yeah.
It's like bigger words,
Yeah.
bigger paragraphs. Yeah.
Writing papers.
Yeah.
We get that a lot.
I haven't heard about people saying what's the reason why for us too hard to learn English, because we so when we see a car and we look at the shape and then we think about the Chinese and then we translate it to English. So
yeah.
there's process for us when
Yeah.
we try to say something. We have go through a lot of process in our mind
Yeah.
and then until we say it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't imagine. I don't know any other language but English, but like I can't imagine. I just think it's so cool that you learn at least 2 languages, you know? That's cool.
Yeah. What about grammar? How is grammar going from Mandarin to English? Is there one that's more difficult?
Grammar. Yeah, like you have to add things in the end of a word to make it like past tense or like change the like tense, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and like a lot of words we don't use it in Chinese. Like we use he, she, him, but we always use the same character or like the same pronunciation to call he, him, she, it. They are the same.
They're all the same?
Yeah.
Or
It
is it
sounds-
still like boy, girl?
It sounds the
Yeah.
same.
Oh,
Just different
okay.
character,
Yes.
but it
Oh,
sounds
okay.
the same.
But it sounds the same.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's why it confuses us.
Yeah. I mean, that would be confusing going from English to Mandarin. I mean, just that's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, cool.
Yeah, and there's, if I'm thinking right, there's like different, is it inflections that they're called? In, like, one is up, one is down.
Intonation.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the
There are
one.
like 5 intonations.
5
Oh
different
my
ones.
goodness.
The tones,
Yeah.
The tone, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the one.
like there are four tones.
And so it's like up, down, or something like that. I had a good friend in London from Taiwan, and he was trying to teach me him one time, and my brain just couldn't even handle it.
Because it could be the same word, right? But you could say it a different way. I mean,
Yeah.
something different.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
I always like to give my foreign like friends example, like 水饺 and 睡觉 is 2 different words. One means dumpling and the other one means like sleeping.
Yes.
Oh.
But it's like
really? Okay.
slightly different
Yeah,
because the tone.
Oh,
Wow.
So it's a Chinese.
Can you say them one more time?
水饺
This is dumpling.
and then 睡觉
Sleeping.
Oh, okay. Wow. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could.
I know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
that's
really
so
cool.
interesting. Anything else like you want our listeners to know about Taiwan, like how awesome it is, or
Yeah. I think if you're planning to go like for vacation, then just come to Taiwan.
yeah,
Mhm.
really,
Because people there are friendly and cheap. Food are cheap.
yeah,
Yeah.
Transportation is nice.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is even though that our ancestors are from China, but we still have our own culture.
Yeah.
Kind of. We're not like exactly the same as Chinese, even though every person thinks we are the same.
yeah.
Yeah, they can come and get to know about Taiwan.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks for being on the podcast and coming here and letting us ask you questions.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. So that concludes our podcast about Taiwan.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. This was the Zeno Podcast. You can stay updated by following our Facebook and Instagram pages at Zeno Podcast.
This podcast was brought to you by BYU Hawaii's Reading and Writing Center.
You can also find us on YouTube or iTunes or by searching Zeno Podcast. That's XENO Podcast.
If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at byuh_rwc@byuh.edu.
Thanks for learning by listening.